Happy Sunday, Substack friends. I want to try something a little bit different this week. Never done a video here before, and I thought I would combine some thoughts about being in the midst of a fog, whether that's literal or metaphorical for you, with a poem that I wrote about fog several years ago now. So, years and years ago, my husband and I were at the beach near Boston, one of our favorite beaches, one of our favorite ways to spend a warm summer day. And we had a lovely spot and books and a picnic, and we could look out on the horizon and see boats and swimmers and the rocky coastline as it kind of curved around and carved out into the Atlantic from where we sat. And within minutes, we started to see a fog come in and essentially clear away all of the study points of reference. The fog was so thick that we could hardly even see the other beachgoers. Even though it was midday, the sun was gone, the temperature had dropped, and there was almost this twilight-like mood to the day. And I remember, even though I was at the beach, completely safe, with my wonderful partner, I started to feel very anxious. I felt like I was fading away into this fog and I was going to be taken away. And I think that hearing the Atlantic Ocean rush in again and again actually made me feel even more a bit unsteady. And I was just wishing, please go away, right? I want the beach back. I want the sun back. And it wasn't more than probably 5 or 6 minutes that the fog receded and the sun returned, and suddenly there were the boats and the swimmers and the houses and that rocky coastline that had carved out into the sea. And in the return to normal, it was so impossible to believe that just a few minutes before, everything had been vague and gray and really frightening. And I just want to say that I think about this metaphor a lot when I'm in the midst of this kind of mist or fog. And if that's you right now, maybe this will feel resonant. I hope that you know you're not alone in that fog. I hope that you know that the fog has not actually obliterated the sun and the sky and the sand and the things that are, that we can count on that are solid. And I hope you can have the grace with yourself to hold two truths. That the fog is very, very real, and it's disorienting. And that disorientation and the fear that comes from it is also very real. And it's not permanent. And even when this haze blots out the sight of people and things and experiences and feelings that we want to have back in our heart, it doesn't actually have the power to completely obliterate these things just by being present. So in a moment, I'll read the poem that I wrote that was inspired by this day at the beach and the fog. And the last thing I'll say before I do that is, at some point, the fog will roll in. It's not if, it's when. Let yourself be scared. And at the same time, don't be fooled into thinking that it's permanent. Give yourself permission to feel unsteady, but don't surrender the tools that you possess to keep yourself rooted during these times when the lights go out. The fog has power over us only to the extent that we believe that it's permanent. The fog has power to stay for a while. And so do you. So here is my poem. That's from Wild Unfolding and Other Poems. This is my poetry book from, 2020. Wow, right before the pandemic. Talk about a fog. So this poem, brief poem, is called The Fog. This is just the fog, my dear. It comes rolling in unexpectedly, and at the same time inevitably. Just as you can't fight the wind, so too would you be foolish to battle the breeze of your own mind, even wielding the sword of your own soul. a low tide will always come back. Best to sit on the shore and share a picnic with yourself until it does once again arrive, like a miracle and a mathematical certainty, lapping at your feet as if it had never been gone. Happy Sunday, friends, and take good care. When you're in the midst of the fog, just know that I'm out there with you. We're actually all out there in some kind of a fog at some point or another, and the sun will return. Take good care.